What's a lazy habit you swear by that actually works? Before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos. I wish you a pleasant viewing experience. Story 1. If I'm procrastinating on a task, I often set a timer and tell myself I will work on it until the timer rings. I'm usually finished or close enough, motivated enough to continue until completion. Story 2. Lightweight cordless stick vacuum is a game changer. Grab and just quickly hit a room without being too thorough while you're waiting for water to boil or whatever. My house is much cleaner with a bunch of frequent, sloppy, half-assed vacuuming here and there than when it'd put off lugging out the big vacuum to do a proper job. Story 3. Get the same pair of socks multiple times. No time partied too hard to pair them up, just grab 2 of them out of the drawer. Story 4. Passive cleaning changed my life. Every time I leave a room in the house, e.g., move from the kitchen to the bedroom, I try to grab at least 1 or 2 things that need to be put away anyway. Doing little bits through the day adds up. I try to always think one less thing I have to do later. Story 5. Do chores in a comfy way. If you need to sit on the floor while folding laundry, do it. If you want to sit on a chair while washing dishes, do it. That little extra makes the task so much less daunting. Answer: yes, this. I bought a Costco kitchen step stool to sit on when I was weak and had cancer because I wanted to do something useful like cook dinner. I couldn't stand 10 minutes at a time, and sitting down helped a great deal. Sometimes when I am rolling out mini meatballs or other such cooking chores, I'll get a big pan and sit in my recliner chair and do it. Story 6. That it's actually a lot easier to do things properly first time than deal with ongoing difficulties caused by cutting corners. Answer: this is why Reddit's obsession with DIY drives me up the wall. I remember when I bought my house and was asking for recommendations on my local sub for contractors and handymen for this and that, and like over half the comments were, just DIY it, or links to YouTube tutorials. No thanks. I'd rather pay someone to have it done right than face the consequences of a sloppy, haphazard DIY attempt. Hell, half the work I wanted done on the house was to repair the last owner's sloppy, haphazard DIY attempts. Story 7. Sometimes, if you don't answer emails right away, they figure out their questions on their own, so you don't have to do anything. Story 8. If a new task comes down from above at work and seems absolutely insane, put it off for a few hours or a day, because very often, whoever relayed it had the wrong end of the stick, and you'll get a clarification a little later that you don't really need to do that. Answer: definitely. I've run into this a lot. Someone will task me to reach out to X department urgently about Y issue, and I take about a 15 million in HR pause depending on the issue, and usually the same person will tell me, never mind, it was worked out, it was fine. Also keeps a lot of domino reaction chaos from happening over something that was fine, and I save a chain of people from pausing what they were doing for nothing. Story 9. I exercise in bed in the morning before I get up. Lots of stretches, leg lifts in different directions, swirl arms to make the letters of the alphabet, etc. I have arthritis, and this helps warm up my muscles. Also, bridges help keep my leg muscles active. Story 10. Parenting. And by that, I don't mean ignoring or neglecting them, but teaching them to do things for themselves rather than doing things for them. Story 11. 1. Everything gets a basket. I have laundry baskets for clothes that have been worn once or twice but aren't quite dirty enough to put in the washer but aren't clean enough to hang up. I have another basket for clothes that do need to be put away, but I can't get around to it just yet. There are to-go baskets for toys, baskets for miscellaneous items, baskets for crafts or art pieces in progress, etc. Everything gets a home that can be tidied within 5 seconds. Incidentally, everything is always tidy without much effort. 2. Not sure if this is quite lazy, but I deep clean 1 thing a day in addition to a quick, daily tidy. For example, I scrub the bathrooms once a week, so dirt and grime just never build up. Usually I schedule a weekly clean of everything, so that detailed cleanings take 20 minutes at most. Story 12. Seeing how problems play out. Most of the time, things don't need my input, so I stay out of the way. Let things unfold and adjust if necessary. Story 13. Don't give 100 to a new job. Your boss will think 100 is normal, and when you start to slip, it looks like you're getting worse. If you start lazy, your boss will tell you if you need to shape up. Then you can actually apply yourself, or they might be absolutely fine with your slack since you're training and delighted you're improving. Answer: I dislike that this is true. We have metrics at work. I do data entry. We have to do a minimum of 40 entries per hour. I was doing 45 per hour my first year. I thought I'd get a raise since I was exceeding the metrics. They said since I had only started exceeding them 3 months into the fiscal year, Took time to practice and get the hotkeys down, and not for the whole year, they couldn't give me a better raise. So the next year I made sure to do 45 per hour for the entire year. That year they said I'm doing good, but they think I could do better. And if I really get my numbers up, I'd get a better raise. So the following year I got really good at my job. I learned even more hotkeys from the shortcut sheet and introduced a few I learned on my own. I got diagnosed with ADHD and got on medication. I took fewer breaks and really focused on the work. That year I averaged 80 entries per hour with zero drop in quality. My quality was higher than most of my coworkers. That year, the difference in raises between me and my coworker, who was averaging 45 entries per hour, was 10 hour. So I said fudge it and dropped back down to 45 per hour. That year, I got less of a raise than the first year I did 45 per hour because they knew I could be doing more. So yeah, never give 100. Story 14. Playing video games for around 30 minutes in rien, sometimes an hour in the morning, before doing anything productive. Just drink some coffee, play some games. When I don't do it, I struggle to get my brain juices flowing. It seems very lazy, but helps me kickstart my day. Story 15. Do all the housework stoned. It's less of a chore, and boy do you get into some fine details. When you sober up, your house is clean. Answer. I knew a girl with OCD who would buy a few bumps of coke, just enough, but no more. She had an arrangement with her dealer for just this, and blitz her house from top to bottom while listening to music at full blast. It worked out cheaper than hiring a cleaner, apparently, and she enjoyed the me time. Mileage may vary, but it worked for her. Story 16. My lazy habit is brushing my teeth to keep from snacking. I had a bad habit of late-night snacking, so I started brushing my teeth earlier in the evening. That made me stop snacking because I don't want to have to brush twice. Story 17. I reuse a lot of cookware during the day. Pan used for toasting bread in the morning? I'll just keep it there and use it throughout the day for other curries, ramen, etc. Story 18. I have a rolling garment rack I bought at Target for like 10. I roll that out to the living room to hang up my laundry while I watch TV, and then roll it into the bedroom to put it away, and then back into the laundry room when I'm done. I also use hanging bins for anything that doesn't actually need a hanger. Yoga pants, athletic tops, socks, underwear, tights, etc. We have a huge walk-in closet, so we don't use a dresser. I do not have the will to hang up anything more than is required, so I make laundry as easy as possible. Otherwise, I avoid it until I have a mountain of laundry to do. Story 19. Buy a second similar item if you can. It will come handy if you lose it or cannot find the same later. I bought the same pair of shoes twice. 2 years later, I'm glad I did. Answer. I found a pair of slip-on dress shoes that I liked. Good for the office, good for travel, before I got pre-check and comfortable. So when the first pair wore out, I bought 2 more. Started the second pair just before COVID and WFH, so they got a lot less use. Recently, the leather was starting to crack, so I just started the final pair. That specific model is no longer made, so it'll be a sad day when I have to replace these. Story 20. I have typed a list of most of the groceries we buy in order of the aisles they are found in at our favorite store. Each week, I circle what we need and add anything else we might need. People have made fun of it, but I spent about 30 minutes creating it 16 years ago. Maybe once every couple of years, I'll subtract an item or two. I think I'm a genius. Also made it easy when husband started doing most of the shopping. Story 21. I call it the Forrest Gump trick. I tell myself I am going to fold one towel, and when I do, I say, I folded one towel, I might as well do another one since I'm here. And I repeat that over and over then before I know it. All of the towels are folded. I have ADHD and it's hard for me to start tasks. Once I start it, I'm good. My brain. Folding 15 towels, that will take forever. My brain. Folding one towel? Easy. One of the reasons why people with ADHD have difficulties starting tasks is because of difficulties with planning, organization, and time management. Folding one towel makes it easier for me to comprehend time management and organization. I also do this at the gym. I hope I am making sense. Answer, am very much a one thing, one step at a time kind of girl. I also get overwhelmed at the total sum of what needs to get done. Start with one thing, and it usually moves on to the next. Example with laundry. I put my clothes on the bed and then say, just bring out the hangers, then hang one item, or just hang the shirts, etc. Then I move on to the folding. I don't pressure myself to put everything away, just open a drawer and move forward. I also remind myself that not everything needs to get done in order to feel completion. I also do this at the gym. Just 5 minutes on the treadmill easily turns into 30, or just one set often leads to 23, and so on. Story 22. Here's hack that sounds industrious, but actually lets me be more lazy over time. Take 5 to 10 minutes at the end of the day to reset the house. 5 to 10 minutes every day keeps things from getting out of hand and reduces the need to do a big cleaning session nearly as often. It's been such a game changer for me and my husband and kids. We do it together as a sweet family ritual. Answer: I've heard this advised multiple times, but I can't for the life of me find things to do in 5-10 minutes that actually contribute to a tidy space. Washing dishes takes more time. Sweeping or vacuuming also takes more time. Folding the laundry too. Cleaning the kitchen or the bathroom takes way more. Maybe I just naturally don't throw stuff around during the day, so there's nothing simple to fix like that before going to bed. So in a way, I'm already doing it. Story 23. Soaking dishes in the sink. Now, I'm not talking days here, but I'll put a coffee cup in around breakfast, top it off with water, plate or bowl from lunch, silverware goes in coffee cup. Cook dinner, put pans in sink with water, if they're cool enough. Rest and digest. Watch a show, then wash all the dishes. This only works so well because it's a small household and mostly just my and my partner's dishes, but never had to scrub silverware, and pans are a breeze. I freely admit this becomes way too much if you have kids, but that was my other lazy habit: don't make kids. That's projecting for me being able to retire 10 years early, which by definition is less work. Answer: dude, my mom just visited use for a few weeks, and the amount of water my house used skyrocketed. I dislike washing multiple times a day. It wastes water, soap, and means I have to grab fresh each time. Stop taking my cup away. And yes, I know there is a plate in the washing, but we are also about to eat in 10 minutes. Wash it when everything is dirty, not now. Story 24. I never pay for parking in my city. Anytime I do get a ticket, it rarely happens. I'm never mad. I just consider it offsetting all the times I parked for free. Story 25. Every time we have to perform a new household maintenance task, I take the time to make a cup of tea, yes, I'm English, first. It takes me out of the blind panic and stops me overthinking. My other half thinks I'm trying to procrastinate. Story 26. Don't rewind your VHS tapes after watching them. Rewind before watching. This way, the timer on the VCR counts down the remaining time. I may be a few months late with this tip. Story 27. Hear me out. Clean the kitchen before cooking or baking. I do not keep the kitchen immaculate throughout the day. That's the lazy part. But when I'm ready to make a meal or do some baking, I clean the counters. Fill the basin with fresh, hot, soapy water. Line up my ingredients and tools, and it's a million times easier to keep up with the new mess I am making. Takes just a few minutes and reduces the visual and physical clutter that interrupts my cooking or baking flow. Story 28. If you have kids, as soon as they can walk, have them fetch things for you and teach them to throw away their diapers and little bits of trash. You have to get up less often, and they love doing tasks. It builds their self-esteem. It's a win-win. If you don't have kids but are around kids, this will also work with them too, even older kids. They love to help. Story 29. It's okay to have a bunch of pillows in your bed because then you get regular support, but also back support. It's okay to make yourself comfy while you're sleeping. Story 30. Doing just 5 minutes of a dreaded task. Sounds lazy, but it tricks your brain into starting, and once you begin, you keep going. Works for cleaning, studying, workouts, anything. It's the minimum effort, maximum result hack. Story 31. For small items that you're constantly misplacing and are constantly searching around for, just buy a lot of them and put them everywhere you might think to look. In my house, you can find chapsticks and nail clippers in every drawer and a phone charger in every room. Story 32. You don't have to do the whole chore to get it done. For example, if I want to clean the bathroom, I can just wipe the sink one day for 5 minutes, then go back another day and scrub the toilet. So on and so forth. Breaking chores up into sections has made my house a lot cleaner, for less effort and more motivation to actually clean. Instead of letting it all get grimy and nasty until I muster up the strength to spend an hour on the task. Another lazy habit is get a slow cooker. Throw in frozen veggies chicken before work or when going to sleep, and you can wake up, come home to a whole meal while you do other tasks, rest at your leisure. It's helped keep me from going out spending money on fast food when I'm too tired to cook. Get veggies in me and eat a more balanced diet with leftovers as well. Also the classic, don't put it down, put it away. Saves a lot of piles from happening. Story 33. I do everything little by little. Need to clean the house? Well, I will take a little time each day to get it done instead of wasting an entire day off. Sure, it takes longer, but I'm just spreading the time over a longer period of time, which drastically reduces my stress. Story 34. In a car, coasting to a stop rather than continuing to accelerate into a known stop point, red light, stop sign, etc., from as far away as possible gets you 2 to 3 extra days of gas per tank. Answer: more coasting generally makes the ride more comfortable too, and definitely less fuel used. Every time you brake, you're turning fuel into heat. I miss driving a manual for the comfort and power band control. However, it's way more convenient to have an automatic, especially when traffic is really bad. Depending on your local conditions and actual habits, excessive coasting could be reducing throughput per stoplight cycle, increasing overall congestion and time on road for multiple vehicles. I'm talking about the people who see a red light 14 miles ahead and do 20 in a 45, holding up traffic behind them. Plus, you're increasing chances of a confrontation from someone who is looking for an excuse to be violent. Story 35. Half-assed is infinitely better than no-assed. Gargle for 30 seconds instead of brushing, better than not cleaning your teeth at all. Wet your hair in the sink and brush it instead of showering, better than not cleaning your hair at all. Story 36. I don't know if it's a habit, but I struggle a lot with joint pain and my lower back, and there are certain household tasks that I struggle getting done sometimes. I've learned to adapt the chores to help myself out. Like when I do the dishes, I have a bar stool I can sit in if my back is in more pain than normal, and it allows me to get them done even when I'm having a flare-up. I had to learn that just because they are chores doesn't mean I have to suffer through them. You're allowed to adapt the thing to be able to get it done. Story 37. Too lazy to drive up and down the aisles of the parking lot to find a spot close to the store? Park way back, find a spot faster, more room to load and unload, and get your steps in. Seems like it works to me. Story 38. Using the 2-minute rule but with a lazy twist. If something takes less than 2 minutes, I still don't do it immediately. I just batch a bunch of 2-minute tasks and knock them all out in one go when I feel slightly guilty about procrastinating. It feels lazy because I delay small tasks, but it actually helps me avoid context switching and keeps me focused longer on deep work. Plus, knocking out 10 quick tasks in 20 minutes feels super productive. Story 39. The no-zero rule. Don't want to do something or feel like you can't? Do a little. Give new words in the language you learn instead of a WoW lesson. 10 jumping jacks instead of a workout, and so on. I'm either into it enough to keep going after that or satisfied and did not loosen my inner streak, so it is much easier to continue the next time I need to. Story 40. Archiving is 99 waste of time. The problem is to prepare for the one. I bundle all my papers chronologically because I always have a pretty good idea of from when the thing I need is in rough terms. I'll rather use 1 hour to go through 3 months of unorganized stuff than spend time organizing things I'll never need to find again. Story 41. Do what works. I struggle to take trash from my counter to the trash can across the room. It breaks my focus and flow, so instead I hang a Gravely bag on the closest cabinet handle and put the trash in there. Once that's full, I toss that bag. I keep things in what might be considered odd places because of this. Get rid of extras. I have a limited amount of silverware, plates, towels, bed linen, clothes, etc. I run out faster, so I have to wash them. They can pile up this way. Story 42. Toddler parents, if your toddler has to be dressed for something the next day, don't bother with pajamas. Bathe them at night and put them in clothes you plan on them wearing. One less thing to deal with when you're inevitably running late in the morning. Story 43. I say to myself, I might as well, when moving through my apartment, doing things that take 2 minutes when I'm in front of it. Story 44. Filling up the sink and letting the dishes soak for around a half hour to loosen up residue. Usually no hard scrubbing required. Story 45. Take a nap in the afternoon for 10-20 minutes. It may seem lazy, but it increases productivity, improves memory and mood. NASA has proven that a short daytime nap increases efficiency by 34. Story 46. If I start any new project or task, I have to see it through to completion. There's no alternative. The solution I came up with is to not start any new projects or tasks. Story 47. Before I clean my tile shower, I vacuum it while it's still dry before I actually spray anything, so I'm not scooting wet hair around while I scrub. Story 48. I set an alarm for tasks I don't like doing. Example, I dislike reading and replying to emails, so I set an alarm once in the morning which I can finish in 20 minutes. Another alarm for after lunch, which I finish in 5-10 minutes. And then another alarm at 4 p.m. to make sure nothing is left behind unread. Story 49. I switched to using my fingers to apply a makeup foundation instead of brushes to save me the hassle of constantly washing them. Turns out your fingertips give a perfect airbrushed finish. Story 50. At work, when we are introducing a new process or a new way of doing things, I will procrastinate on starting anything. Then when folks have started, I listen to their feedback about how they started, roadblocks they ran into, issues they have encountered, etc. This way, when I get started, I know immediately what to avoid and what not to do. Story 51. Tackling hard problem at work tomorrow. Instead of stressing out immediately, I just say, let tomorrow me figure it out. 910 times I figured out the solutions while driving from work to work the following morning or while showering. Story 52. Wearing the same work pants 2 days in a row so I don't have to re-loop the belt, peeing and brushing my teeth at the same time in the morning. Story 53. Top sheets are actually good because it makes it so easy to remake your bed in the morning. A quick flick and you're good basically. Story 54. My memory huffs jerk and I tend to manage things on the fly day by day as I see them. Makes certain weekly, bi-weekly, annual tasks hard to keep up on consistently. My lazy solution is a liberal use of reminders. I have regularly set reminders to vacuum, wash sheets, water plants, etc., and annual reminders to do maintenance items around the house, plant certain seeds, etc. Story 55. I always clean when I am on hold to speak to customer service. It's amazing how clean your house gets on a long phone hold. Story 56. I'm not lifting things if I can use a dolly, a trolley, or some other wheeled assistant. I want to save my back. Story 57. I never make the bed because I don't see the point. Then I found out some scientific study concluded it's healthier not to make the bed because it allows your bed to dry out better during the day. Story 58. You save a lot of time and money by not giving a fudge what people think of your appearance, home, car, etc. Story 59. Folding towels and washcloths is a waste of time. Get a small basket for the washcloths to keep them separated and just toss it all in. Story 60. When someone gives you a task, don't just jump to it. Spend a few minutes thinking about it. It might look lazy, but you might avoid some pitfalls and see a more efficient way of doing the task. Story 61. Use a mulching lawnmower with a bag attachment to both cut the grass and rake the leaves at the same time during the fall. Apparently, talking an hour to complete 2 tasks rather than spending 6 hours manually raking and bagging the leaves before cutting the grass is considered being lazy. Story 62. I don't know if it's lazy, but if you are working on something for a while and just can't figure it out, ask someone, preferably a friend, at work for help. Chances are, the minute I ping someone else to look at something, I'll find the issue. Story 63. I do grocery pickup for most of my shopping, but then go in and select my produce and meat. This saves on time in the store and avoids impulse buys. Plus, the store shoppers are terrible at produce and meat choices. Story 64. At work, I park in the same parking spot every day, even though it is a bit farther away. I never have to think about where my car is parked after a shift. Story 65. I no longer clean any dishpan before putting it in the dishwasher. Old caked on food? Don't bother soaking or scrubbing, just put it in the dishwasher. 9 on 10 the dishwasher removes everything, even the stuff I thought it would. And when there's stuff left on, just put it through the dishwasher again with tomorrow's dishes. Story 66. I have my groceries delivered by Walmart for the yearly meager fee and have a very cheap maid. Very lazy, but life is too short to clean and grocery shop. The money is worth it, and I don't have a lot of money, single income, but have found the peace it brings me leaves me time for life. Story 67. One of those little grabby claw sticks like are advertised to elderly people to reach things. Turns out anyone can use them. I got one for cleaning up litter and, oh my gosh, I use it all the time. Stuff stuck under behind furniture. Grabby claw. Have to do a bunch of repeated bending. Grabby claw. No back pain or pre-syncope. Putting off a chore because I have to touch something gross. Grabby claw. Total game changer. Story 68. Grocery delivery every week. Unlimited 35-year right to my door. I have to go in for my Heineken 0.0 since it's considered adult beverage, despite its lack of adult beverage. But that's it. I've saved so much time. Story 69. I always have found getting dressed really hard and stressful, so I created a uniform for myself that I wear every day. Not literally the same clothes, but a go-to combo that I know I feel good in and looks put together. Saves me time and mental energy. Story 70. I don't have a TV anywhere except in front of the treadmill. The only way I can watch shows is if I'm on it. Story 71. Put your underwear and socks in a mesh bag before throwing it in the wash. Then once it's done, dump in a drawer and never have to fold again. Story 72. Just wash everything on cold with a normal cycle. It works fine, saves time, and you'll never have clothes bleed. Story 73. Plan meals the week in advance so we have what we need and don't have to do multiple shops or decide on throughout your day what we want. Also, don't iron before putting anything away. Only iron it if you have to. Story 74. I put all my monthly work tasks in an Excel spreadsheet organized by deadline. I don't ever think about what I have to do. I just look at the spreadsheet and do them in the order of deadlines. It takes a huge amount of the feeling and deliberating out of completing tasks. Story 75. Only works if you live alone probably, but get dressed out of the dryer pile of clean clothes. If you don't have to fold or put away laundry, it's barely a chore. Obviously, there are certain fabrics that you can't buy unless you want to give them special treatment, but it's fine for most clothes. If something is wrinkly, throw it back in the dryer with a wet washcloth for 10 minutes. Story 76. I started getting my groceries delivered most of the time. It forces me to plan out my meals ahead, and then I'm also not adding as many extra things like I often do when I shop in the store. Story 77. May sound not lazy, but getting everything done way ahead of time allows me to be lazy as shoot and maintain video game uptime in my 30s. Was told by a mentor that if you want to be lazy, just get everything done and you can be as lazy as you want, and that always stuck with me. Story 78. Leaving things out so I don't forget about them. Yes, my counter is very cluttered. That bill will sit there for a week until I get around to paying it, but if I put it away, it will for sure not get paid. So, Story 79. Lazy exercise. You lazy of trying to get the remote off the end of your bed? Squeeze your abs while trying to sit up and get it. Same while watching TV. It'll lift my lower body up to a hover and hold. Story 80. Don't hang your clothes up in your closet unless it's absolutely necessary. Get a bunch of plastic drawers and loosely toss everything you can into those. I wear a lot of sundresses this time of year, and none of them have ever seen a clothes hanger. Answer. Lol, I'm the exact opposite. I dislike drawers. You can't see through them, and things wrinkle if you don't keep them neatly folded. The only thing I put in drawers is socks, undies, and bathing suits. Everything else is hung in the closet. Except a handful of sweaters that will pull weirdly if hung. Those go on top of the closet. Plus, putting stuff on hangers takes significantly less time than folding stuff. Story 81. Ignoring fashion trends and rotating essential pieces in the same colors. Pants. Navy, black, gray, khaki, pinstripe black, pinstripe navy, pinstripe gray, blazers or cardigans, black, gray, cream, navy, teal, eggplant. Shirts, black, gray, cream, navy, teal, eggplant, and a couple of patterned shirts. Small polka dots and tasteful florals work with almost everything. One signature watch, a mix of stud and hoop earrings, and simple chain necklaces that you can change out pendants if you want. Once you have this wardrobe, you'll never have to worry about dressing for work again. Most pieces are interchangeable, and mixing them up means you'll never look the same. Add inexpensive hair accessories, scarves, or belts to have fun with it. I prefer dresses and cardigans because I find them the most comfortable, but I essentially follow the same plan. Story 82. Always empty the car when you get home, then there is never anything in it. I wish I could get my wife to adopt this practice. Story 83. Naps. If feeling a little sluggish or not as sharp, take a 15-20 minute nap and your brain will reset. Sometimes I have taken a 4-minute nap and have the same affect. Story 84. I only wash my face once at night, and only if I am wearing makeup that day. That moisture barrier is your friend. Story 85. Hoop all the shirts you need to hang on your arm through the neck hole, then out the bottom. Then just grab the hangers by the hook and pull the shirts onto them from the bottom. Saves so much time. Story 86. Replace the lawn with low-growing native ground cover. Like many of the others in this thread, some initial effort and expense, but then you can bask in no mowing, no watering weekend bliss. Story 87. You don't have to do a full chore all at once. Like you can clean a few dishes with the water running while you wait for the microwave. If you only have energy to clean half the bathroom, then do that. Some of a job is better than none of a job. Story 88. I learned this from a thread similar to this a while back, but when you are leaving a room in your house, look for items that belong in the room you are going to first and take them with you. Story 89. 5-minute break after every 25 minutes of working. The productivity gains far outweigh the lost time. Story 90. Exercise habit. If you have access to hills around you to walk up for exercise, try to do them as fast as you can. That way your duration of suffering is shorter and you end up getting a better workout in the end. Why jog for an hour when you can get the same workout by walking up a hill fast in 23 of that time? Fighting gravity is a cheat code. Story 91. Hang your clothes onto a coat rack beside your wardrobe after you take them off if you plan to wear them again before you wash them. That way you keep them separate from clean clothes while seeing them first thing in the morning and remembering to wear them within a couple days before they need washing. Story 92. Start the washer, dryer, dishwasher, then fold laundry while watching TV sitting on the bed. Keeps me feeling productive while enjoying my show. Story 93. Not really a habit, but an entire large tub of plain Greek yogurt, 2 packs of sugar-free Jell-O, mix them up, and I've got 3 work lunches and 5 mimihamen that are around 130 calories and 25 jewelry protein. I add whipped cream to it, and it tastes like key lime pie. Story 94. Putting my swimming costume under my pillow so I put it on as soon as I wake up and force myself to the gym. Story 95. Sort out your shorts, underwear, socks, pants, sweats, etc. into separate piles right after taking them out of the dryer. Speeds up the process of sorting through and having to fold them. Story 96. Soaking dishes with Bottle Bright. If I don't have to scrub, I'm more likely wash and put away dishes immediately. Story 97. Laying out tomorrow's clothes the night before feels lazy in the moment, but saves decision fatigue and starts the day one smoother. Story 98. Doing the smallest thing. If I need to clean the stovetop and can't face it, so, always, I lift off the pot stands, no idea what they're called, and sit them on the bench. The next time I'm in the kitchen, cleaning the stove happens almost automatically because my brain thinks I'm finishing a task, not trying to start one. Story 99. Touch everything only once. I can drop the clothes in a pile, or I can go ahead and drop them in the hamper. Way less work to touch everything only once. Story 100. I have a list on my phone of all the meals I commonly cook, split into categories: soup, pasta, Asian, Mexican, breakfast, salads, sandwiches, American other, etc. Pick a meal each from 5 different categories and boom, there's meal planning done for the week. Story 101. It's been particularly helpful to my brain to do chores without a plan. I often find myself saying out loud, it doesn't matter what order you do them in, it only matters that they get done. I'm super task and efficiency oriented and regularly find myself paralyzed by the planning. Cleaning with no plan has been weirdly liberating for me. Story 102. Chair bench in the shower. Last year I had a major surgery and I required either a handicapped bathroom or a chair in the shower. Now I keep using the bench in the gym shower. Who says you have to stand for the whole thing? So much easier to shave your legs. Shower is more relaxing after an exhausting day. Story 103. I have, after many years of feeing up, learned to do about 90 of my work up front so I could coast in the back end. My college exam weeks were spent in light, drinking, and reading crappy novels. I aced almost everything. Story 104. Turn chores into games. I thought it was silly when first recommended, but beating my own best time to fold laundry does feel oddly good for the serotonin part of my brain. I started doing it with dishes and picking up too. Story 105. When I'm on a cut dieting, I eat the exact same food every single day. It tastes good and has a good variety in it, so I'm getting every nutrient I need. But I only need to calculate my macros once. That way I get exactly the calories, proteins, fats, and carbs I need, but with very little planning or effort. Makes shopping a breeze too. Plus I never have to worry about what's for dinner. It's the same thing. Meal preps are so easy. Story 106. I wash the dishes immediately after using them. You might think that the lazy way would be to forget about them for a while and wash them later, but that takes more effort since the food has dried by then. Story 107. When I lived in a very small, very tight apartment, I was a big fan of make your bed as you get out of it. Basically kick the top sheet back into place at the bottom, then smooth out the parts you can reach, crawl out the top, and smooth the blanket. Bonus points if you also put the pillows back straight as you go. Takes like 20 seconds, but makes the room look so much nicer. Story 108. Wait for difficult situations to play out. They will inevitably play out, and many times unexpectedly good. Story 109. My skin has improved so much since I started washing my face less. Used to wash it twice every day. Now I only wash it while showering or to take off makeup. Story 110. Don't fold your clothes, just take them straight out of the dryer or hamper. I haven't folded clothes in years. Story 111. Keep a note in your phone of things people mention wanting, especially your significant other. Then when an occasion pops up, you have a list of possible gifts. Story 112. I shove clothes that don't wrinkle into drawers unfolded if I'm in a hurry. I know where to find them, and they're tucked away neatly as far as anyone else can tell. Story 113. A habit that I've started to pick up is for laundry, especially if you're a person who separates their laundry into loads. And you're like me, and laundry creates the most of the mess. Have separate baskets for each load. When you're done wearing something, put it in whatever basket you have for each load, or start one if it's empty. Story 114. At work, never act on a request in the first email. Wait till the second time they ask. 90 of the time they never do. Story 115. Clean while you wait. Making yourself a coffee? Instead of looking at Tavoy, just grab the kitchen rag and clean something until the coffee is done. It helps a lot with maintenance. Story 116. Finding the easiest way to get something done. Maybe laziness, maybe efficiency, but either way, it's easy. Story 117. I'm using supplements for sports. It's not that I need them, but they increase my endurance 15 minutes after taking them, so I have to start training exactly then. And taking a few pills is less effort than beginning the training. Story 118. Mostly eating the same things for breakfast and lunch every single day. It saves so much time and cognitive effort both during the day and when grocery shopping. I found things that I like, are reasonably healthy, and, most importantly, are very easy to make. I make granola and yogurt with berries for breakfast and an egg sandwich on a bagel for lunch. I really don't get bored of it, mainly because I just don't spend time thinking about it. Dinners or weekend meals can be exciting and different. I would just way rather have the extra time and effort back during the weekday. Story 119. Makeup and mirror right next to bed. There is no need for me to get out of bed to get ready till I need to be dressed. Helps a lot when you're someone who struggles with transitions. Story 120. Getting rest when your brain needs it. When you're going through a difficult situation, it's better emo to rest as much as you want. Story 121. Bundle activities together. Going upstairs for something? Grab things you need to take upstairs. Grab the things you need after you put the others away, and then go back down when you are ready. Taught to me by occupational therapy. Story 122. Laying on the floor with legs up against the wall. Doesn't feel like self-care, but my nervous system is like, thank you. Story 123. Don't put things down. Put them away. Maybe not lazy, but I don't spend my Sundays cleaning up all the stupid shit I left sitting around all week. Story 124. I sleep on a made bed with another blanket. I usually have to move pillows a little bit when I wake up and just fold that one blanket. Story 125. If I can't find the motivation for a task, I will pretend that I am teaching someone else how to do it, step by step. Story 126. Don't put it down, put it away. I'm constantly telling myself that when I'm about to set something on a counter instead of where it belongs. By putting it where it belongs the first time, and not doing more work by having to move it twice. Story 127. I only own 7 underwear. I can't let the laundry pile up because I run out of underwear once a week and refuse to go without clean ones. I run the dishwasher every day, even if it's only half full. I turn it on before bed. By the time the coffee maker's done brewing in the morning, I've got the dishwasher unloaded and ready for dishes all day long. Story 128. Using scissors to cut up bacon. Obviously, I have a set of scissors that gets washed just like regular cutlery after ever used that I keep in my silverware drawer. Story 129. Always keep things picked up and cleaning right when you make that mess. Now, you never have a lot to clean, so it seems to take only 20 minutes to do all chores because you never make those messes in the first place and let it pile up. Story 130. Do it badly. It's been a game changer to realize that half-assing things is 1,000 times more effective than psyching myself out with perfectionism. Story 131. Keep your toothbrush and your floss in the shower. My oral hygiene drastically improved as a result. Learned it as a guest at my in-laws when I noticed my FIL setup. Game changer. Shave in the shower too. Story 132. Have less stuff. Buy quality once and don't have more than you need. Instantly a whole lot easier to keep clean and tidy. Story 133. I dump all the clean laundry on the bed, then fold it at night while my husband is showering and I'm decompressing from the day. I put the kids' laundry in a basket outside my room, and my husband helps put the folded clothes away. By the time I'm done, I've watched a TV show and unspooled enough of my day, so my brain is empty and I can go to sleep. Story 134. Drinking a lot of water before I go to bed so I wake up and have to go pee first thing in the morning. I don't wake up during the night, and that helps wake me up faster. Story 135. Roller chair for chores. Dishes, cooking, sweeping, folding laundry. So much better. Trash cans at all sitting points. Next to the couch, next to my desk, next to the kitchen, next to my bed. don't have to clear trash off your surfaces if you just throw it directly away. Each room has its own cleaning supplies. Don't have to gather them to clean. I just move from room to room and the cleaning supplies are already there. I keep one of those dish brushes with a soap reservoir full of shower cleaner in the shower, so I can just do a quick scrub to procrastinate getting out of the shower. I would recommend doing a dish soap and vinegar blend for this, so you don't get bleach or harsh chemicals on your skin. Story 136. I spray and wipe my tub after every bath. I only take baths, so this is about twice a day because my toddler also takes baths. I spend more time spraying than I do wiping, and my tub always sparkles. There is never any elbow grease required. I use a dilution of Mr. Clean concentrated all-purpose cleaner and a clean washcloth. I got a pack of inexpensive white washcloths specifically for cleaning. We use them for spills and any surface wiping. Story 137. I worked in media production long enough to recognize the tone of voices some clients made when I was in-house. I want this thing made, but don't know enough about what want to give you details. You just make up generic status updates and they cancel after 2 weeks while you did nothing on their project and just worked on your other projects. Story 138. Instead of parboiling something, peppers, cabbage, etc. for stuffing, freeze it and then thaw. That makes it pliable enough. Story 139. Just use a slow cooker for simple dishes. There's a decent amount of recipes where you can just throw a few ingredients in with minimal prep and let it cook on low for however many hours while you do whatever else. I make a 16 bean and pork soup where the most work I really do is just dice up an onion and dump several cups of water in, and then I chill. Usually I do it before bed. Takes like 8-10 hours. Story 140. Chopped frozen onions and crushed garlic from a local farm. I haven't chopped an onion in years, and it's way easier to start cooking healthy meals. Story 141. I have a socks box at the front door. All the socks are the same, and they get dumped in the box. When you're leaving the house, put socks and shoes on at the same time. No matching, no folding. More room in the bedroom for other clothes. Story 142. Don't do the dishes at night, but when you wake up in the morning, they have been cleaned and put away by your partner. Works every time. Story 143. I'd rather get yelled at, chewed out for not doing something than for doing something at all or doing it wrong. I for FedEx. Some drivers like their larger packages loaded no matter what. Some don't. It's annoying trying to remember which like which, so I just don't load them at all. I've gotten chewed out by the same managers for loading and not loading. And I'd rather not do something and get botched at than do too much and still get bitched at. Story 144. If you dislike working out, you first have to find something you really enjoy doing, like walking outside. Whatever it is, even if it is just going to the gym, do it lazy. Walk on the treadmill at a low speed for 10 minutes. At least you're doing it. For me, it created a snowball effect that fired up this internal ambition. Setting small goals is definitely key to success. Story 145. Organizing my desk before starting work. I swear the cleaner it is, the more confident I feel pretending I actually know what I'm doing. Still, I'm usually lazy about organizing it to not be lazy. Laziness matrix. Story 146. I don't fold most of my kids' clothes. If I want something to look nice, I just toss it in the dryer for 10 minutes to get wrinkles out. I have extremely limited energy and time from chronic illness, so this is one thing I just do kinda lazy. Story 147. I'm a floor person. I always have bare feet in the house and I like nice clean surfaces on my feet. So every day at some point, sometimes after breakfast, sometimes after dinner, I wash the solid surface floors with a warm, soapy rag and dry it with a clean dry rag, and I fling all debris onto the carpet, eliminating sweeping. Then I vacuum. It literally takes me 10 minutes and my floors are clean every day. Story 148. Doing big tasks in small bursts. For example, just gathering trash into a bag. Take the bag out later, put what needs to go somewhere else in a pile, put things from the pile in the room they go, etc. It doesn't all have to be done in one big drag. You can break it into 5-minute tasks over the day. Story 149. I have a cute container with floss picks on my nightstand, and I floss in bed instead of at the sink after brushing my teeth. I now floss very regularly this way. Story 150. Not going above and beyond at work to save your sanity and save your workload from increasing due to your efficiency. Story 151. Don't answer routine questions in work emails. Wait and answer them in meetings. It saves having to answer the inevitable follow-on questions in multiple emails. If they really need it answered, they'll email again or MU. Story 152. I don't fold my kids' clothing. still young, 4.1. They have baskets in their closets separated by shirts, pants, underwear, socks. No folding, just toss it in. Extra bonus, they can help put their laundry away. Story 153. Intermittent fasting. Started it to restrict calories and lose weight, but now I've found an appreciation for never having to think about buying, cooking, or just choosing what to have for breakfast or lunch unless I fancy it on a weekend. Story 154. When someone asks you a question, don't answer it right away. Oftentimes, they will figure it out within a few hours of asking. Story 155. I work retail. When I run freight and can't figure out where an item goes, I put it in the wrong spot. When I start to walk away or when grab the next box to put away, I find the spot of the first item. Story 156. Finding ways to do less work. Lazy people will, if properly motivated, find the most streamlined and efficient ways to complete any process we're responsible for, because our natural inclination is to find a way to do it in as few steps and with the least expenditure of effort possible. Batch cooking, for instance, one effort on a Sunday afternoon versus 6 individual tasks on 6 individual days. Easy call to make. I currently have 8 homemade pizza bases, 5 homemade calzones, and 8 portions of pizza sauce in my freezer. Other stuff too, but pizza as a backup plan for when I'm feeling heroically lazy. Story 157. I don't fold washcloths into a drawer or kitchen towels into a drawer, or my kids' clothes, 2-4 into drawers, and I pre-sort laundry into cold, hot, don't dry hanging hampers. Story 158. If cleaning house seems like a big job, then don't clean the whole house. Just pick one thing to do. Go throw away the trash. Go unload the dishwasher. Wipe down a sink. Finishing a single task is easier than trying to do a whole cleaning. Story 159. If you have a young one who has trouble getting going in the morning, put them in clean clothes before they go to bed. Then, no fighting to get dressed in the OM. Story 160. I make all my sandwiches for the week on Sunday night. Not like the ingredients will age better in their boxes than inside a sealed Tupperware. Story 161. When everything is a mess every time I walk somewhere, I take something that needed to be thrown away or moved. And if I am going somewhere entirely different or pause in a different area, I clean up 5 things. Not all things, not for some period of time, just 5 things. The 5 things rule generally applies in my workshop area, which I dislike to clean and organize. I want to make things when I'm in it. I never like to clean something or organize end to end. It's antithetical to making things and enjoying myself. But once in a while, if an area is particularly dirty, I will set myself a timer of like 5 or 10 minutes so that I don't feel the burden to go on until everything is done, which instead leads to doing nothing, but rather whatever I can get done in 5 minutes. And at the end, due to inertia, when the timer goes off, I often do 5 more things. It seems effortless to do these things a little at a time and detach from feeling guilty about being messy or disorganized. Story 162. Throwing dirty clothes down the stairs so they're closer to laundry, and I don't have to go downstairs. Story 163. How I sort laundry. I have a family of 5, spouse, me, and 3 kids. In our garage, I have various laundry baskets set up, 1 per kid, 1 for my spouse and me, 1 for socks. Each time I pull laundry from the dryer, I separate the clothing so it's all in the correct basket. That way, if I don't get to putting clothes away, folks can still easily find things in their own basket in the garage. I also stopped separating my kids' socks, so they're all in one central location. I have one of those sorter things hanging on their bathroom door that's full of their socks. Every 2 weeks, I'll dump the sock basket out on my bed and put all the pairs together. We all have a lot of socks, so there's never any worry about needing them, so every 2 weeks works for pairing them up. Story 164. For cleaning, organizing, not lazy but habits. Don't put it down, pick it up. Only touch an item once. I.e., don't put an item on the stairs and then in the closet. Take an item with you when you leave a room and have a home for everything. I'm very organized. It's my superpower. I have a labeled storage box for everything. Mail either goes in recycling bin, to be paid, dealt with basket, or filing cabinet. I keep a paper shopping bag in my room for donations. Whether a gift that I don't care to re-gift, a worn-out t-shirt that still has life, whatever. When it's full, it gets donated. Story 165. 3-product makeup routine for low coverage days. Moisturizer, serum for a glowy look. Bright tint for lips and blush, reddish-brown liner for eye slips. Story 166. I just got back from Maine, and for an extra $4 to $5, you can get the lazy lobster opting, where they take the meat out of that gnarly red sea cockroach so you don't have to fight with it. Worth every penny. Story 167. I used to be the person who did all the tasks at work. Take out the trash, sweep, mop. I did it because showing initiative and working hard gets you ahead. I didn't do it one day and I got chewed out. I left that job and now just do tasks as they're given. I do less now and people are impressed with how quickly I can get a task done. All this to say, less is more. Wait for work to come to you. Story 168. When I want to just lie around and surf my phone, I do it on a yoga mat in a half cobra. It stretches out my tight hip flexors and makes my back feel good. So when I get up, I feel like I actually did something restorative for my body. Story 169. Stop memorizing and start learning the fundamentals. Thinking becomes a lot more efficient when you learn how and why things work instead of memorizing that they work without the proper connections. Story 170. Rinsing a dish after use, leaving it in the sink and properly washing it. B. Reuse instead of letting the sink build up. Story 171. Put a medium-sized trash can in every room. Can't be small because then it will overflow. Can't be large because then you're leaving waste in a place for a long time. Also, food only goes in the main trash can. Having trash cans everywhere means that there's much less little cluttery, trashy things that I don't feel like taking back to the main trash can. Story 172. Whenever I feel sad, I tell myself I have to wait 15 minutes to cry, and usually that makes me forget why I wanted to. Story 173. How to lazily clean your sock drawer, underwear drawer, closet, kitchen drawer, or any place where old stuff accumulates. Example, sock drawer. When you wash your socks, put them in a box. When getting dressed, only take socks from the drawer each day until the only socks left are too awful to wear. Throw those out and put the boxed socks in your sock drawer. For your closet, hang up your washed clothes on one side of the closet. You can only wear clothes from the old side of the closet except for special occasions. When you truly can't stand the last of the clothes from the old side, donate them. Story 174. I don't always jump to do everything at work the minute it's brought up and waste time on something that will be deprioritized. I typically wait to see if it comes up again or we have a meeting about it, and sometimes things just go away. The trick is to try to choose the right things. Story 175. Procrastination. If you wait, it's either a problem you really didn't have, don't need to worry about, or if it is a problem, you are now motivated to handle it. Story 176. Answering emails in the Notes app first. That way I can rage type, sound unhinged, rewrite it like a civilized human, and avoid accidentally sending per my last email with real violence. Also, putting my water bottle on my chair when I leave. Lazy? Maybe. But it forces me to move it before sitting down hydration trap unlocked. What's your top tier lazy habit that makes you feel like a life hacker with depression? Story 177. Baby wipes are great for dusting, especially the tops of fans' other hard to reach areas. The dust sticks straight away. Just don't wipe back over yourself so you don't get smears. Instead of spending 10 to 15 mins cracking out the Mr. Sheen, I just quickly wipe over the main areas with a baby wipe, do a deep dust once a weekish. Use a slightly wet microfiber cloth on untreated wood, but make sure to squeeze all the water out. You want it to be a lil sticky wet, not drenched. Game changing. Story 178. I floss my teeth in bed at night. I'm embarrassed to admit that, but flossing while watching TV or reading makes it not boring, and then your teeth are really clean. Story 179. Wash dishes as you use them, and you never have a sink full of dirty dishes. I'd rather spend 1 minute washing my few dishes a few times a day than 10 minutes washing all the dishes once. I refill a fresh sink of hot washing up water a couple times a day to give myself no excuse not to. My partner ended up doing the same thing without me having to ask once I started having the water ready. Story 180. Doesn't work for me being a guy, but girl bud of mine said she asked the clerk where the Magnum condoms are at 5 minutes. Later, she gets questioned if she found them. Still there. She says she's waiting for someone to buy them. Story 181. The Pomodoro. It feels lazy because you're only committing to work for 25 minutes at a time. My brain, which dislikes starting big tasks, can easily be talked into doing anything for just 25 minutes. The joke is that by the time the 5-minute break comes, I'm already in the flow, and it's easy to keep going. Story 182. I'm not sure it's really lazy per se, but the idea of mise en place is so fundamental to my life now, it just saves so much anxiety. Everything is just where it should be and ready, and it does come off as lazy sometimes because it's so much extra prep up front, but it's the best way to do things, emo. Story 183. I live alone, so it's a bit different, but I just leave my clothes in the dryer when they're done. I don't fold them or put them up. It's a lifesaver for me, haha. Story 184. Putting your clothes on right after they come out of the dryer. No folding, no wrinkles, no shame. Just pure efficiency and vibes. Story 185. Isolation. Yeah, you hear about antisocial, etc. Though ever taken a week, month, or year just to yourself? Not saying in a Euromedia environment, just no communication. Take a year to speak to none then, after your year, yes, your year. You may realize that 1 year away keeps the stupid away. In a sense, you may go crazy or enlightened. Like watching fish in a bowl, you end up being a bigger fish personally. That's why they never want people to do this, because how enlightened people get after even 1 year studying, fully studying world without interacting, because you can go faster in time by staying out of way still while observing. Even if you go so far, those in 2025 feel like 1800. Story 186. Save water by urinating in the kitchen sink. It's multiple wins. Save water as you don't need to use a flush. Fill the sink with urine and do the dishes with the aforementioned urine. Saves going through the effort of going to the restroom. Plus, after a while, your white plates develop slight magnolia tinge to its color. It's wins all around. Story 187. In college, it was the, I'll just get my stuff together in the morning. Then it's 8:50. I needed to be out the door 5 minutes ago, and I'm eating a bagel while searching the closet for my shoes, which are actually under my bed, by the way, because I couldn't be bothered to clean my room this week and can't find my math book. Had I decided what I was going to wear and located it all the night before, when I had all the time in the world, I wouldn't have been late for class as often as I was. Instructor didn't care. They were often later than I was because of the long walk from a previous class. There's also there's not that many dishes, I'll do them tomorrow. Turns out dishes multiple if you don't do them. Then instead of taking 5 minutes that day to just wash it, now it's 10-15 depending. Story 188. Whenever you're worried that someone is mad at you for no real reason, hit them up casually, ask them what's up, or offer to hang out, or just send them a meme. Any small casual interaction. And usually their reaction to that is enough to either alleviate the paranoia or give you a sign that maybe something is off without immediately jumping to conclusions or bringing in heavy subject matters needlessly. I have BPD, and this is how I managed to actually maintain healthy relationships. It took years, but consistently noticing these small confirmations made me feel a lot more secure, and I'm not nearly as paranoid now. Story 189. At work, mention being broke a few times. Keep it casual. Nobody wants to hear you whining. If someone wants to grab takeout for lunch, no thanks. Bills were pretty heavy. Gotta try to save. Groceries? Yeah, they are so expensive. I have to watch for deals. Means that when people come around asking for you to contribute to bullshit baby showers, kids' fundraisers, or want to borrow some money from you, oh, I wish I could, but money is really tight. Saves awkwardness of a, no, I don't want to waste my money on this shit. And I don't get harassed by the scam artist trying to get $40 from me. One of my coworkers has a side hustle that does pretty well, and I've noticed people ask her way more often for money or will you support this fundraiser? Story 107. The Keurig reusable pod sleeve insert fits into the funnel of the AeroPress. The AeroPress funnel fits into the espresso filter basket. The Barazza Encore Grinds collection bin fits into the wide part of the funnel. Espresso basket goes on top. Whole thing gets flipped 180 and tapped on the counter. The Barazza Encore collection bin sits beneath a Bunn coffee grinder, cause let's be real, grinding with anything else is an exercise in self-hatred. Story 171. I have trouble keeping track of ongoing or long-term tasks, so I have a reminder system that works really well. I've got a bunch of those colorful rubber bracelets on some corkboard. If I have a task I need to tend to, I grab one and put it on so I remember that I have something to take care of. Also have a whiteboard so I can write which task is associated with which color, but I haven't needed to do that much. Thank you for watching the video all the way to the end. If you'd like to see more content like this, you might be interested to know that I've created another channel with a similar theme, especially for those of you who enjoy what I do. I'll leave a link in the description, and I hope to see you there. Take care.